about the side kick. There are many different ways of throwing a side kick, and there's just as many names to the side kicks. So I'm gonna share some of my favorite ways of throwing and using the side kick. Almost everyone can throw a side kick on a heavy bag or mitts, but very few people can actually land it in sparring, let alone competition. So how do we make our side kicks work? How do we land our side kicks? How do we set them up? How do we set them up in MMA context? The side kick that I throw the most, and the side kick I see people utilize the most, and the side kick I see people utilize the most effectively, is the kissamegiri. Where we're here, we're sliding in. We're lifting our legs straight up. We don't really chamber a lot. We lift with our heel, going straight up towards our target, and then just sliding in and twisting at the last moment. So we're here, and you can go to the head, you can go to the stomach, and you can even go to the legs. It doesn't really matter. What's important to remember is that we don't chamber straight when we're doing this, because what happens if we chamber straight? We're up here and they push in. Boom. We're gonna get stuffed. Most likely, we're gonna fall over. But if we chamber with our heel up first towards our target, even if they go in, we still have something to push off. So if we're crammed up like this, I can still push myself and create distance. If I'm really strong, I can still kinda kick them too. But mostly, I use this kick as a jab. I don't really plan on landing it. I just use it to throw something out there so that I know where I have my opponent, just to keep them at the distance that I want them to set up something else. This next side kick, it starts off with a defense. It starts off with a check. Somebody's kicking you towards the inside of your leg, and you check the kick, and before you step down again, you just push your hip and heel towards their knee. The leg that they're standing on, so if I'm kicking you, this supporting leg is what you're gonna be aiming at. So you block the kick, and on your way down, you just extend. You extend your hip and your heel, and you get that whipping motion. So we're here, you throw the kick, and I really want to just extend it towards your supporting leg. This doesn't have to be very hard to be very uncomfortable. Most likely, you're not gonna have too much power in it. When you're practicing it stationary, when your opponent is letting you do it, you can get quite a lot of power. But when it's reaction-based in sparring and competition, you're not gonna get too much power in it. Because most likely, you're gonna block the kick, you're gonna get a little bit of balance, and then you're gonna do it. You're not gonna have as much momentum forwards as you're having when you are practicing it stationary. But it's still enough to stop their attack. It's still enough to do some damage. It can off-balance them, it can trip them, it can damage their knee. And it's a solid defense, because you're gonna check the kick either way, and you wanna get down again. But instead of just going straight down here, I'm going down in an angle. So I'm just here, bam, bam. And the way most people are taught the side kick is this way, but they don't really reflect over it. Because how are we taught the side kick? Most likely, you're taught by chambering up here and then extending it. Well, it's basically the same thing, only I chamber it a little bit more to the side of me. So I chamber and I extend. The last one I want to talk about is in a combination. Now this is probably the most effective way I have of throwing my side kick. This way lands most of the time, I'd say 80% of the time. It doesn't really matter which stance you're in. I'm gonna show it from both stances, and I'm gonna be kicking with the same leg, with my right leg. What I like to do is I like to throw across, take a step to the side, throw my jab, and really switch over to the leg that I made an angle with. Boom. This jab almost never lands, but it's gonna be up in their face. It's gonna make their hands come up, and that exposes their belly. So from here, I'm really just gonna shoot up. I point my heel towards their stomach and I extend. And this way you also come off at an angle. So if they go into it, it's gonna stun them and then you can get out. Or if they go out, you're still gonna touch them because your leg is longer than your arms. And since you're here, you have quite a bit of reach. And if I'm standing orthodox, I just do the exact same thing, except I start with my jab. So I go out, boom, and then I hit it. You can go through the head, you can go to the stomach. Going to the legs rarely works here, since I'm creating such an angle. And you can change small details in this combination, like how you put your weight. If I'm going more into him, really pushing through, or if I want to get out, maybe I'm in the corner or up against the cage, and I think I need to get to the middle, then I'm just gonna do a little bit of a tap and use that to get out. I can even use it like I'm jumping off him. So it's very simple. You get off the center line and you really take a big step and throw the side kick. So that's 3 of my favorite ways to use the side kick, or yokogeri, or whatever you call it. If you have any different setups for using the side kicks, I'd like to hear it. These 3 have worked great for me so far. These are 3 of my favorite ways of setting up the side kick. I'd love to hear if you have any different ways of setting them up. So tell me in the comments. That's all for now. Bye.